Well, I play a dentist from Miami who doesn't really like to be a dentist. He's like, he loves his life. He's got the fast car and the girls and everything. But, you know, just putting his hands in people's mouths kind of, you know. And at 34, he suddenly finds out he's adopted. And he's like, wow, maybe I'm not supposed to be a dentist. So he finds out his real parents are from Alaska, and he's got to go up there and hear the reading of a will. So he goes to Alaska, 37 below zero, and he finds out his mother left him a dog sled team. And his real father's alive, and he wants to find out who he is and why they gave him up, and all hell breaks loose.
So what is it? Is it a comedy? Is it an adventure?
It's a little bit of everything. Yeah, it's definitely a physical family comedy that we just had a ball shooting over 3 months in Calgary, Alberta, and Banff Springs, and Vancouver, and then 1 week in Miami, Florida, which was way too short.
Most of it looked pretty cold.
It's very cold. It was very cold. People say, you know, you get chased by bears, you jump off cliffs, you go into a frozen lake, or you got to swim. What's the word? The cold. The cold. It was freezing. I don't know if you've been in like 37 below zero weather, but when you breathe in, your nostril hairs freeze up, and it feels like you got balls in your nose. I mean, that's nasty. Yeah, it was crazy.
Now, with working with these dogs, what is it like? Do you have to train to train, or what?
Yeah, well, what happens is with dog mushing, it can be very dangerous if you don't know how to control the sled. Because if you fall off and the dogs stop, it can trample them. So they didn't want us to be on the sled until we were completely competent back there. And you know, they would tell us, if you fall off, you let that thing drag you to death, you don't let go of it. It's like, oh, okay. So we spent 3-4 days in the mountains behind a skidoo, which is like a snowmobile. And it pulled us around until we were completely competent. And then they hooked us up to the dogs. And by then, we had spent so many hours on this thing, it was like second hand. You know, W.C. Fields says never work with dogs and animals, or people and animals. And you realize, children are animals, and you realize why, because after you do 15 takes and you finally get it right, a dog can screw it up and you got to go again, you know. So, but we had the most well-trained dogs, and each dog had a trainer, so every dog was kept, you know, attentive, you know. But it was something.
Is it like windsurfing? I mean, how does it feel like?
It's like, yeah, it's like more like water skiing. You know, you get behind the skis and you got to maneuver your weight, and your foot works the brake. But you can't just hit it like you're on water ski. You have to talk to the dogs. You go, hi, and you get them going, right? And you go, ha, 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 and they go, you know, they go one way, or gee, 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 and they go the other way. And then when you go to slow up, you go, all right, boys, whoa, 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 because you can't just go like that, because then you'll just pull on them. You got to always communicate with them. And then when you're about to take off, before you tell them, hey, you got to say, ready up, team, ready up, so they get ready to go. And they stand. And it's really interesting, because you talk your way through everything you do.
Now, he finds love up there in Alaska?
Yeah, it's a little strip joint. A couple of strippers that he falls in love. It's a family film. Trixie does this thing with a golf ball. No. Of course, he goes up, he hears the reading of the will, and this bar tavern lady, played by Joanna Bacalso, her first film, and she was awesome in it, knew his real mother, his biological mother, I should say. And she kind of helps him along his journey. Love blossoms at 30 below.
Now, why do you think it's devastating to find out that you're adopted?
Well, I think, you know, I can't really talk because I wasn't adopted, but my wife was adopted. And when I did this movie, I talked to her about it. And I said, would you ever want to find your biological mother? She said, no, I don't care. This is my real mom. But our guy, specifically with our film, is he had problems dealing with his life situation. And here was something that he thought, wow, you know, here I worked, I've been successful, I went to college, and this is what I was meant to do, right? You know, and that's kind of scary to think that your whole life might have been put off by a foundation that should have went another way. Maybe you're living a lie, but that's not the case. I think you become the man that you are, and I think our guy realized that, you know. But it took him to go to Alaska to figure that out, and you know, that's what I liked about this script. You know, I'd been giving family films before, but you know, big broad comedies, and this one was that, and at the same time had something for parents to enjoy, to deal with themes of adoption and race, and you know, because he finds out his father's white, and you know, that, you know, baked his noodle a little bit, and but he's become a better man because of it. And you know, I'm about that, man. I don't want to do a movie, be it a comedy or a drama, and have people sit for 2 hours while I self-indulge some shots or do cry, or you know, it's like, oh, okay, felt like a waste. I feel like if you're gonna sit through 2 hours with me, you should learn something, or at least enjoy watching somebody learn something. So.
The race. What's that race about?
The Iditarod, the real race? Well, the Iditarod is a 500-mile trek, I believe, between across the frozen tundra, one man and a team of dogs, and whoever gets there first, you know, it's just bearing all the elements considered, snow and cold and water, and you know, it's the dogs are running and you're running with the dogs at points and helping them up hills, and it's just a race of endurance. But our film doesn't really deal with the race much. It's, like I said, deals with the themes. It's a care of these characters and their relationship with the dogs, and then you know, without giving too much of the movie away, the race is incorporated with the end of the movie. And then you realize what relationship it has with the characters when you see the movie. But it isn't really our guys going and competing. It's got more heart than